Yes, so Hairless here. Today we're back with a Patreon request. Thank you to Juliana for this one. This is VoicePlay and it's their cover of Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Another very, very famous song. Everyone, I'm sure, has heard the bass riff. I remember playing that in my first ever band practice back when I was probably 6-7 years old in one of my friends' garages. This and Smoke on the Water. Classic. The song itself though, Seven Nation Army, it's not one that I think I've ever really chosen to listen to. I don't love it, I don't hate it. My last VoicePlay reaction was In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. I said in that reaction, and I was speaking about VoicePlay's cover rather than the original, that it's one where it kind of makes you feel cool listening to it. You know, like walking down the street, feeling cool. This song, Seven Nation Army, I imagine it gives people a similar sort of feeling. So I'm interested to see how VoicePlay handle it. I'm told it's part of their post-apocalyptic series. I've done one of those already. That was their cover of Aerosmith's Dream On. Please do check that out if you haven't already. Card up here. Here we have a new face, at least to me, and that's Anthony Gargiulo. I spent far longer than I should have trying to find an interview with him to see how to correctly pronounce the name. This is how he says it.
Anthony Gargiulo. I
didn't know him beforehand. I'm not going to spend more time researching into him. I kind of want this to be as much of a surprise as possible. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Fight them all. A Seven Nation Army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. No, back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. The message coming from my heart says leave it alone. Leave it alone. I don't wanna hear about it. Don't wanna. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it. From the Queen of England to the and if I catch it coming back.
Okay, I don't normally pause mid-phrase or mid-verse. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that, but I think that merits it. There's no explanation needed, so we're going to do our first pause here. If you don't want to hear my thoughts or my analysis, go to the timestamp. Alright, I mean, look, let's get straight into it. They're in the same key as the original song. We had to wait a few seconds to confirm this though, because it starts off with this. That sound, I'm not sure what it is, but it is basically showing, look, this is tension right from the off. It reminds me of the opening of A Grenade by Bruno Mars. The location as well, very cool. It's like a proper disused mall or something. They have the lift there, or the elevator as it would be called in the States. Then we get Ellie's entry. I think it's very, very nicely done. He starts off in unison with Jeff, but then he sustains through whilst Jeff moves, causing dissonance, and then he moves away into an independent line. So we immediately have counterpoint, harmony, rhythmic contrast, yet no lyrics, there's no beat, it's just two parts. It's a nice intro, and for this reason, or these reasons, I actually think it's not too dissimilar, at least stylistically, from the opening of In the Air Tonight. For anyone who didn't watch my introduction, that was my last VoicePlay reaction. So please check it out if you haven't already. Card up here. I just checked and that was June 2023. This was May 2023. So it seems they were consecutive VoicePlay releases. We get these nice quick in the backing voices.
I'm gonna fight them all.
When I first heard them, I was kind of expecting a bit more, but the fact that they then stop keeps the emphasis on the famous bass riff and of course on Ellie's melody.
7 Nation Army couldn't hold me back.
This swelling, like this mini crescendo, loud to quick, and then suddenly off. Again, it increases tension. It can't just grow and stop. It just seems a bit unnatural, and it keeps us engaged. It keeps us wanting more. And then things are starting to kind of build up. They're growing a bit, and we get teased in Jeff's part.
They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right.
That delay there, they make things unexpected, non-standard. VoicePlay don't do standard or regular. It's a stylistic choice, and I'm sorry to say again, but that we saw in the air tonight. I'm not saying this as a comparison at all or saying they copied one to the other. I just love seeing these nuances, these stylistic choices. It's like an artist's touch or signature or something. Very, very interesting. All right, let's move on to the harmony a bit.
To myself at night because I can't forget.
Those oohs there, the lower part is going... Harmonically, we're really expecting the last note though to go down one, so... Because that would be part of this B chord. But instead, by going to this note, we get this augmented chord instead. It's a bit tense, a bit dissonant, a bit irregular. And then shortly afterwards they repeat and we hear this part again.
Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette.
This time it does do what we expect. But why are we still hearing dissonance? Why is there still tension in that chord? Well, it's because Jeff, the cheeky chap, he changes his bass line to sing this note down the octave. So we get these notes in the chord. And then Jeff, this clash here. This is the minor and major chords at the same time. That's a really big clash. It's a statement. So this is the nerdiest thing I'll ever say. But in terms of the harmony world, they are getting down and dirty with it. They're getting gritty, but only a little bit here and there. It's very, very fitting considering the aesthetic. Sorry, I don't know what to say about that. That's ridiculous. I really liked the lead up into Anthony's first solo. Jeff moves up the octave. I kind of wanted him to stay up there. I do like hearing his higher chest voice register.
Leave it alone.
Anyway, he goes back down and then we get the same noise that we heard to open up this song. It doesn't fit harmonically, it's rogue, it adds to the tension. Tension, tension, tension. Then the beat comes in for the drop. We did have clicks before, so some kind of percussion. Again, like we saw in the air tonight, they started off with clicks, but now there's a true rhythmic driving force. The energy is upped with the entry of the real percussion. And VoicePlay, whom I granted with the prestigious title of the Masters of Rhythmic Manipulation. Now that we do have a beat, they're making sure to keep the rhythms in the other parts super interesting.
Don't wanna
dum dum dum. Syncopations, these quick layered entries they love. I just had to pause, there's so much going on. Let's go from Anthony's little run here. I'm actually going to play it in slow-mo just because it's so accurate. Doesn't seem impressive in slow-mo, but we'll go in normal speed.
From the Queen of England to the and if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you wanna hear, but that's what I'll do. And the feeling coming from my bones is fine.
stop, relax. Things were getting a bit crazy there. I'm not too sure what quite happened. All right, let's rewind, take it a step back. What have we just heard? From where we carried on, Ellie and Caesar, they were doing some nice homophony to accompany Anthony, singing the same words at him at the same time with the same rhythms.
And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you.
I especially like it because they then repeat that line when Anthony stops singing.
And that ain't what you wanna hear, but that's what I'll.
And then they join him again. So they're kind of just constantly going and he's coming in, dropping out, coming in. I don't know why, but that really accentuates the idea of gang warfare in my head. Almost like a leader and his posse, or gang camaraderie maybe. Because then they start accompanying Jeff and his bass line instead of the melody. Alright, Anthony's voice. This is my first time hearing him. He clearly has a great voice. I don't think it's that unique in terms of timbre, but what I really think is stand out about it is his accuracy. How quickly he's able to accurately hit these successive notes.
Yeah, but that's what I'll do.
I imagine it like a mechanical mechanism, like a machine. Not many people can do that. Alright, then came the kind of the surprise bit, I guess. VoicePlay, making use of technology, and why not? We know they love it, they're good at it. Jeff sinks way down. And then we get this bit. Elements of it sound really, really similar to some kind of super dark, grungy techno music that I've heard, and many other electronic genres, I'm sure. Now, hear me out. There is a track that immediately comes to mind. I'm going to play this VoicePlay clip again, and then I'll find that clip and play it. To me, the similarities are uncanny. I wonder if any of them listen to this kind of music ever, or maybe Jeff in particular, because this is Jeff's arrangement. I must be the first person to ever show a clip of Bruno Mars and that in an a cappella reaction video. Well, we have VoicePlay to thank for that. Their vast variety of musical output, we never know what we will be getting with them. Yeah, it's a fun arrangement and it's quite hectic. Literally, we never know what's coming next. We get these repeated lyric-less sections, so the standout feature here is the rhythm, or the rhythms. So I'm listening out for them, the harmonies are fairly standard. So what stands out to me there, a bit rhythmically different, Jeff's rising arpeggios in the bass part. Chum-ba-bum, chum-ba-bum. That's new, and it's possible because the famous bass motif, which he normally has, is now in the other parts. On the repetition, I'm therefore still listening out for the bass part because I'm thinking that's coming again. Well now his rhythms have adjusted to cha-cha, cha-cha, just 2 notes instead of 3. The 3 notes instead are now in Ellie and Caesar, in that quick layered entry bell tone style where I showed the clip earlier from Nothing Else Matters. I could go on forever because there's just so much going on, so many different things and parts to look out to, whether it's the rhythms or the harmonies or the motifs or the structure, but this is kind of my mental process when I listen to this music and what's going on in my head. Alright, we approached a moment of calmness, it seemed, with Jeff. We'll go from there.
I'm going to Wichita, yeah, far from this opera forevermore. Yeah, I'm gonna work the straw, make the sweat out of every part. And I'm bleeding, and I'm bleeding, and I'm bleeding right before the Lord. All the words are gonna bleed from me, and I will sing no more. And fight 'em all. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back.
Wow, the more I listen to VoicePlay, the kind of less I feel I know them. Really a lot of diversity in their arrangements, a lot of different things. Well, I mean, let's go over that final section. I don't have too much more to say. I'll try and pick out some of my favourite bits. First thing, with their guest singer, I wonder if they had Anthony specifically in mind for this song.
Wichita, yeah.
Did they want someone with the ability to do these crazy accurate vocal runs? Alright, so this bit.
Out of every part.
Now, I thought at first that was Anthony, but listening again just now, it sounds like Ellie. If it is Anthony, well, they must have a really similar sounding voice in the head-dominated blended voice. The second highest part there
Out of every part.
is this sustained B. Later on though, we did get this from Ellie. On that note of who's singing, Anthony, he blends really well with Ellie and Caesar. How tight is that sound? It's very tight. That was a rhetorical question. He clearly has an amazing range. He went really high at one point as well. Let me find it. He goes up to one note higher than your typical chorister would be expected to sing. There was one bit as well that caught me off guard. I thought it was very interesting. It's where they repeated one bar or measure. So that's the rhythmic surprise. Well, what's the purpose of it? I think it's accentuating the harmony at this point. What we're hearing is a G chord, but Anthony's melody, that's the dissonant note. Sure, why not just do that bit twice? Let's really drill in this dissonance.
And the stains coming from, not the stains coming from, not the stains coming from.
Before the resolution there. And just after that, we again get that very synthetic repeated note motif coming in, and then kind of chaos ensues. Organised chaos though, it's very sound musically, I think. It's clearly the vibe, the atmosphere that Jeff was trying to create. I think he's hit the nail on the head here. Rebellion, straying away from the constraints of normality. And I think finally, just a very quick special mention to all of the little effects that we got coming from Lane. He had loads throughout. There was one in particular that I'm thinking, is that Lane? I mean, just wow. The gun cocking, the ammunition falling on the floor. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one there, and I'm going to re-listen, hopefully survive there was so much going on. Anthony, really good pick for this one. He blends so well with the others. Crazy accurate voice. Those runs are so difficult to do. Again, great set, great location. Video very fitting with this post-apocalyptic theme series thing, just like we saw with Dream On. And like the last reaction in the air tonight, I am also a bit kind of torn about how I feel about this one. It's quite crazy. I just don't think I was prepared for it, and all these added effects and everything. Very pleasant surprise, I think. So thank you again for this request, and thank you to everyone for watching. As always, would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you like my videos, want to support me, join the community, please do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now, or the YouTube membership link below, and I will see you next time.